Our early pro football team of the week is one that went on quite a winning streak, 26 games, including big wins over the NFL champs and other NFL teams and pro teams. The Hominy Indians are our focus in this episode, and what a team they were. Their story comes up in just a moment.
This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history on a day-to-day basis. Your host, Darren Hayes, is podcasting from America's North Shore to bring you the memories of the gridiron, one day at a time. So as we come out of the tunnel of the Sports History Network, let's take the field and go no huddle through the portal of positive gridiron history with PigskinDispatch.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of PigskinDispatch.com. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your portal to positive football history. And as we try to do each and every week, we're going to talk about an early pro football team. And this week, our subject is a great one. It's, during the golden ages of sports, the decade of the 1920s, the gridiron had one of its finest teams assembled in a small Midwestern town, Hominy, Oklahoma. Not many people know where that is. It was a place that the team called the Hominy Indians played. They were aptly named as each and every player was of Native American descent. The group eventually included members from 22 different American Indian tribes. This is nothing new, as the success of all Native teams such as the Collegiate Carlisle Industrial School and even the Orang Indians, which were a professional team. And both of those teams starred featured stars of Joe Guyon and Jim Thorpe, among others. Now, the Hominy team was the brainchild of Osage tribesman brothers Ira and Otto Hamilton. To get the ball rolling, Ira Hamilton, with the financial backing of fellow Osage Nation members Dick Rusk, Harry Big Eagle, John Abbott, and Allison Webb, they got a group of local Native Americans together and began holding practices and scrimmages. At first, Ira Hamilton was the coach, as well as a player until a quality coach could be named and could be hired. When this occurred, Hamilton happily relegated back to playing on the line. And when the team felt they were ready, well, they played their first game. And they had some success, too, playing some teams from around the area and local teams, other semi-pro teams. Then they started getting into playing into some more professional teams, the Kansas City Cowboys and some other well-known teams that were from maybe, the Texas area. And, it got bigger and bigger as they went. Well, the Hominy squad soon traveled around the country as an independent professional team. In one stretch of the mid-1920s, the group had never been defeated or even tied, as they ended up with 26 games in a row on a winning streak. This is not always the case, though, as the group suffered some hard times early on. One account in the Osage Journal of Pawhuska, Oklahoma, on November 26, 1926, said that the Pawhuska Huskies blanked Hominy 38-0. Well, I think that must have woke up a sleeping giant, because it was soon after that the Hominy team went against some really good teams and won them all. Now, the Hominy Indians suited up some big-time players, like All-American back John Levi of the Arapaho tribe. Allegedly, Jim Thorpe, the great Jim Thorpe, called Levi the greatest athlete he'd ever seen. Now, rumors swirled about the legend of John Levi and included him being able to toss a watermelon ball of that era 100 yards in the air and the ability to drop kick a football through the uprights from midfield's stripe. Now, the guys in the trenches were a formidable five, listing towering Pete Bighorse, a very apt name for a very big man. He played right guard for the team, and Ira Hamilton as the left side guard. Otto Hamilton, Ira's brother, played the center position. At the tackle, we had Bill Shadlow. He played the pivotal role in the front line, as well as Joe Papio. And there are rare game film clips of Papio hitting opposing linemen so hard that their helmets would fly off their heads. And you can see some of that in the rare footage. It's in the YouTube video that we have embedded on PigskinDispatch.com for this article. Now, these guys could open up big holes in opposing lines for Levi's and the others to run through. Now, the roster also included Johnny Pepper Martin, who went on to play in the Major League Baseball circuit as a pro player, and a pretty good one too, quite the athlete. Now, they never made great amounts of money, as some reports say that the top games, the players on the Hominy Indians earned $150 each, while other contests, they barely scraped together enough from the gate to give everybody a little bit something to take home. And, we have some great pieces of, not only that YouTube video, but some great news clips from newspapers.com on pigskindispatch.com for this Hominy Indians article. So make sure you check those out. The Hominy had the greatest exposure they could ever ask for when they got a chance to play the NFL champions on December 26, 1927 in nearby Pawhuska, Oklahoma. The New York Giants went on a traveling exhibition tour just weeks after winning the NFL title by finishing with the league's best record. Hominy took perfect advantage of that opportunity. The game was a tightly played contest, and the Giants must have at some point realized that they were in for more than they bargained for from the Hominy 11. With the game tied at 6, the All-American fullback John Levi took over at quarterback and tossed a 60-yard bomb right on the money for a score to lead the way to a 13-6 victory over the New York Giants, the NFL champions at the time, in this exhibition game. The victory extended the small-town Oklahoma team's win streak right up there. Like we said, they got up to 26 games on there. So a 60-yard bomb from John Levi. So maybe those rumors were fairly accurate when he said he could fire that watermelon ball 60 yards or 100 yards in the air. Maybe he was just let a little off and carried it 60. Anyhow, at the height of their popularity after this win, there was even some talk of possibly the Hominy Indians becoming an NFL franchise, according to some of the surviving relatives of the team members of the Hominy Indians Club. That was a tough climb, as the NFL stayed pretty much geographically centered in the East in the Great Lakes areas. The Rams were the first to go west of the Mississippi in the late 1940s, and the Dallas Cowboys would not be come to existence and become the first southwestern team in the league until the 1960s, 1960 exactly. So this is decades before those things could happen. So I don't know that the NFL would have been able to geographically maintain a team that far away. The team was forced to disband after the conclusion of the 1932 season due to some financial reasons caused by the Great Depression, where people simply did not have the funds to pay for tickets to attend games. But boy, for that 12-year run that the Hominy Indians had, they had some ups, they had some downs, and they had some great peak apexes of some great play with some fantastic players and a great story, the Hominy Indians. Make sure you check out some of these YouTube clips on Hominy Indians. You will learn so much about them, and people are so passionate that, especially from that area and from those tribes and reservations that those men came from, the 22 tribes that made up the Hominy Indians. Glad you joined us here today for some more football history, and we were glad to share this Hominy Indians story with you. Look back for some more history each and every day here on pigskindispatch.com. Until then, have a great gridiron day. Peeking up at the clock, the time's running down. We're going to go into victory formation, take a knee, and let this baby run out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back tomorrow for the next podcast. We invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. A special thanks to the talents of Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff, for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Are you having a hard time figuring out what to get Dad for Father's Day? You should check out Row 1 Brand's Vintage Pictorum Gallery. They have America's best sports art. With over 7,200 historic sports prints, you're assured to find something unique for Dad this Father's Day. Instead of a boring old tie, Get him a historic baseball photo taken by Henry High Sandom at the historic Polo Grounds Stadium in New York City during the 1894 Temple Cup. Or, if he's an NFL buff, check out the 1963 vintage NFL poster. These are so good looking that you'll be amazed how they turn out. Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1 and save 15% off your order.